This is a continuation of Project 1. We're on page 33 in the book. I would like to remind you that we were creating squares with the adjusted shape that we had just made still selected. You should open up your transform panel. You can do this by going to Window and selecting Transform. With this, you will see whether or not you created the perfect 12-point corner. And if you did not, you can go in and change the corners. And you can see very easily, you can type something in or pre-click and create the perfect rounded corner. As long as you have the link selected in the corner radius values. Otherwise, if you disconnect this, you can make each corner change individually. Just another method of getting the same thing. You can close your transform panel and pick up your selection tool. I'm actually going to select the next rectangle or square that I created because I'm a little off center on my board and I don't want to carry off onto the pasteboard. I'm going to hold down my Alt button, click on. Did you notice when you hold down your Alt key or Option key if you're on a Mac that you will get a double arrow? And now I'm going to click on the rectangle and drag straight over using the guideline from my Smart Guides and drag over. This is important. Release your mouse first and then release the Alt or Option key, and you will have created a duplicate of the item that you had selected. This is a really good place to save right now, and all you need to do is go to File, Save. You already have this located, or you can use the shortcut key, which is Control S. Make sure you read the next page, page 34, which covers understanding selection basics. We created these squares by using the default color selections, default fill of white and a default stroke of black. We are going to select one of the rectangles and we're going to hide our corner widgets. So go to View, Hide Corner Widget, and we're going to open our swatches panel. You can use Window to open it, or you can simply go down to the side on the right and select your swatches. Choose Small Thumbnail View. There are various selections. You can have a list that shows larger thumbnails of the color. You can also have a list view, which will take up way too much room because each item will come up with the color plus the name of the color, and usually we're working with a small or medium thumbnail view. The swatch panel will give you a list of predefined and saved colors that you can use, or you can also create colors. Near the bottom of the tool panel, make sure that your stroke icon is forward. That makes it active. You're going to change to the light brown color. In the swatches panel, click the light brown swatch in the third row. We have now changed the color of our outline. When I click off of it, you can see it. You won't see it so well with the selection made because of the blue line. Now we're going to activate the fill icon. You can click over here. You could also activate it in the swatches panel by clicking on the icon to bring that forward. And we are going to click the black swatch to give this a black fill. Next, we're going to change the stroke weight to 3 points. We can come up across the top in our control panel, and we're going to increase this using the drop down. You can also type in the number. We are next going to swap the fill and stroke. It's very easy to do. We simply click on the swap fill and stroke, or you can use the shortcut key, which is Shift X. We're going to select the second rectangle now, change the stroke weight again to 3 points, and choose the light color brown again to create our fill. We can also change the color by using the colors up on the top. Selecting the final rectangle, we're going to change the color of that simply by picking up our eyedropper tool and selecting one of the other rectangles. And the eyedropper tool will then pick up the attributes of whatever we've selected and automatically changes our final rectangle over. I'm going to hold down my control key or command key, which will temporarily change my mouse to whatever was the last item that I was using, which was the selection tool. So I can now click off on an empty part of the artboard, deselect all of the rectangles. When I release my control key, my tool will change back to the eyedropper. Next, I am going to pick up the rounded rectangle tool again in the Tools panel. I am going to draw another rectangle that is 126 point square. Get this lined up here using my smart guides. I'm going to click, I'm going to drag. I can also hold my shift key, which will give me a perfect square without having to do too much lining up. Now, when I release my mouse first, then my shift key, the attributes that I used last are remembered by the program, so I automatically will get my 3-point outline with my brown fill. At this point, it's a good time to save, so Control S. Illustrator offers a number of tools that make it very easy to move objects around on the artboard. If we were drawing this with pen and paper, we'd have to scratch everything and start over. If we were using pencils, we'd have to erase and start over because this isn't the position we want. We are now going into View. We're going to open up and show our rulers. So rulers, show rulers. Oops, there we go. Come on, show rulers. And because we have been working and set up with points, we want to change this because if you're not familiar with points, it's sometimes easier to use the inches. So we are going to Control right click the top ruler. We will get, oh, wrong one, come on. There it is. Make sure you click where the numbers are and select inches, and you can release your control key as well. We have now changed our ruler over to something that's a little more convenient. Pick up your selection tool and click on the left rectangle if it did not automatically select it. Look at the right side of the control panel and you should have transform available. If not, you may have these functions running out along the top of your control panel. And next you are going to change the positioning of the item. By default, we have this lovely little proxy up in the corner, and the reference points are going to correspond to the bounding box. The default is center. We can choose any of these points, and the default 0 point on the screen is the top left corner of the artboard. The X and Y positions are measured from this top corner on down. So in fact, I'm not even at the top of my page. So let me scroll to the top. And everything starts from here and moves to the right and down in measurement. And we will see the numbers in our transform palette on where we are. You can use the pop-up transform panel, or you can use the option directly in the control panel if you have that much room on your control panel. We are going to move the top reference point. First of all, make sure your proxy selects the upper left reference point. And we are now going to enter in the X field 1/4 of an inch and hit enter. That slid that over. Back in the transform panel again, and we are going to change the Y coordinate to 1/4 of an inch and hit enter to make the change. Using your selection tool, you're going to select the second rectangle, click on it, and drag up until you get one of those lovely smart guides that shows you that the center of the rectangle is in alignment. We're going to skip working on the third one and just skip down to the fourth rectangle, and you're going to select it and bring it up, and let's take it to the top. We can center it, but we're also going to use the transform panel. We're going to use the top right reference point this time, select it, and put in for our X value because we want that to be 1/4 inch off the edge of the right hand side of the paper. So for our reference point, we're going to put in 8.25 inches, making sure I have a 1/4 inch on my Y value, which I should have had since I used my smart guide to line up the centers, and hit enter, and that's going to pop that over in the right location. We're next going to align and distribute the objects. This is another way to move objects around on an artboard. We are going to click and drag with the selection tool to create a marquee. You just have to drag through the item to select it. Now we're going to open the Align panel, which you may or may not have open. It will come up at the top like my transform or shape, but this is what is contained in the Align. And what we're going to use is the vertical align top button. So this would be the, let's find vertical align top right here, which brought everything up to the top of the artboard. I didn't want the top of the artboard, so let me undo this, and I'm going to specify align to selection. And now when I select align to the vertical align top, it's going to bring that other rectangle up and align it with the rest of the pieces that I have selected. The next thing that I want to do is distribute these evenly across the paper. We want to select the horizontal distribute center button, which is going to work because we have this selected for align to selection now. This is going to take the outer two pieces and distribute the inner two evenly spaced between all of these. So let's take that and hit the horizontal distribute center, and that slides everything up so that it's all perfectly spaced around. Now we have all of the objects selected. You could click off and reselect again, but next we are going to Option or Alt click on any one of these 4 rectangles, and as you hold down your Option key before you use your mouse button, you will see you get the double-headed arrow again, and we are going to now click and drag straight down and use your smart guide and read until we get, come on down, it's not coming, come on, click, and there we go, click and drag straight down. And if you get off to the side, you can very easily pop back. I'll give you a little secret here. If you hold down your Shift key as you're dragging down, you will go perfectly straight and you won't have to worry about a wobble. So I'm going to drag down so that my Y value is 2 inches. And then I will release my mouse button first, release my Alt and Shift key, and click off to any other part of the artboard to deselect everything, and now save your project by using Control S.